what's up? Welcome back to another video. So in this video I wanted to talk about something that was a little bit more serious and something that is actually personal to me, because not only have I gone through it while I was growing up, but also because I know that there's a lot of LGBT that is struggling with, this particular problem that especially lies in the home area, and that is what it's like living with a homophobic parent, or pretty much anybody homophobic in general that you are living with, like your mom, your dad, cousin, brother, whoever it is. So like I said before, I came out when I was super young. It was like the end of 7th grade, early 8th grade. I was a baby. Like, I didn't understand anything that was going on. All I knew is that I was different, and I noticed that my likings weren't really the same as the other boys. And luckily around this time when I came out, actually Prop 8 was being talked about, and basically what that was, I don't know if you guys remember it because it was a long time ago, but it was talking about same-sex marriages and allowing a man and a man to marry, or a woman and a woman to marry. So I was eating dinner and I remember that there was Prop 8 that was being talked about, and we were watching the news at the time, and I remember that there was these two lesbian couples that were talking about, how happy they were because Prop 8 and how it's going to allow, gays and lesbians to marry one another, and they're finally going to be able to marry the person that they love, explaining their excitement and everything. And I remember my dad's comments were really hurtful, and I remember it was mostly uncomfortable for me because at the time he never knew that I was gay, not that I know of, but at the time I don't really think he knew at all, and it was mostly just my own hidden secret. I never came out to my real dad at all. I only came out to my mom and my stepdad. And I remember him talking about and asking me, and he was like, what do you think about it, and how come we have to give them what they want, and what is it gonna do for them? And I remember when he asked me, and I felt my heart dropped to the floor. When he asked me what I thought, I was literally looking down the entire time, just eating, and I looked up and I said, why does it matter to me if someone else wants to marry another man, or if someone else wants to marry another woman? As long as a person is happy with what they're doing, that's all that should matter, and that's what we need to support. Because of what I said almost struck a nerve in him, and it was almost as if he was upset with me because I wasn't agreeing to what he was saying in a way. And for me personally, that really hurt. I just remember feeling that sense of judgment. Why is my own parent talking bad about people that I can connect with? It's like, that's probably gonna be me one day, where it's like I'm gonna want to marry another guy. It's like, it doesn't matter what I do with my life, as long as I'm happy, that's the only thing that should matter. And as your son, I would hope, that you would support me or whatever, and not have to fear for myself that you're gonna judge me, or you're not gonna accept me because you don't like it. Taking that in when I had recently came out to my mom and my stepdad, I was not really wanting to come out to him because of the responses that I got, and because of that I feel like I fell into a real deep depression, not only because of what was said, but then again it's like, you're not being accepted. That was not something that I wanted to hear. And there was like a time where there would always be judgments, and that word would always be thrown around the house, and I think because I would always get judged at school, like who wasn't, and I would be bullied for who I was. It was also a more struggling type of situation, because not only did I have to fear about, going to school to be judged, but then I also had a fear about going home and being judged in my own home. I mean, think about it. You're in 7th or 8th grade, completely scared of everything because you are just discovering new parts of yourself, and you are learning everything about yourself. You're learning what you like, you're learning what you don't like. Things are changing, and your feelings start to get more sensitive, and like your feelings start to become more valid, and it starts to become harder. I'm gonna be completely honest here. I haven't talked to my real dad in over 10 years. So it's like, I'm thankful that I'm able to have a strong support system when it comes to my mom and my stepdad. I'm completely thankful, because unfortunately some people don't even have a mom or a stepdad or a dad or a mom that they can count on. And it's like, I'm lucky enough that I'm able to have that. My dad was really really controlling, and he had a really short temper, and it was just overall bad. The smallest thing can set him off, and if he didn't like anything, then he would act completely out of line, and it was just complete asinine behavior. So it's like growing up and looking back at how much you have changed over the years and the things you had to deal with back then, you start to realize that you don't really want that type of energy in your life anymore. Like, you don't want anything negative. And I know growing up, and I mean, I'm 21, I'm about to be 22 in 2 months, and it's like crazy ridiculous. There are some times where I miss my dad, because I feel a dad is someone who is basically someone who is going to teach you how to be a man when you get older. And I'm not saying that I'm not a man, but I feel like because I didn't have my dad that I wanted, it was definitely a lot harder. But living at his house was hard. You know, I wasn't allowed to talk to my mom. I wasn't allowed to use the phones. I wasn't allowed to bring friends over. I wasn't allowed to, I don't know, watch TV at certain times. When I did watch TV, he would have to be right next to me. When it comes to calling my mom, because I wanted to talk to my mom, I wasn't allowed to have a cell phone over. And when I did have a cell phone, there would be many times where I would have to put my cell phone over the fireplace, because we had like those little fireplaces, the little ledge on it, and I would have to put my phone on there as soon as I get home from school. And what he would do is that he would text my friends when the phone was up. I don't know how he would, but the messages were deleted, and I would be shown text messages from my friends the next day when I went to school. And there would be times where, you know, my cell phone would be completely dead and I didn't have a charger because I wasn't expecting my phone to be dead. And it's like he would do these really weird things that were really controlling, and it was almost kind of scary in a way, because it was like he was trying to make me a prisoner in my own home. In a really weird way that sounds. I didn't realize that there were actually cameras in the house until my older sibling that I don't even talk to anymore mentioned it one day. So basically, my suggestion to you is, if you're living with a homophobic parent or anybody in the household, is to be strong. And I know if, you know, you're living with your parents and they're probably homophobic and you want to say something, my suggestion is to not say anything. You know, the easiest thing that I thought of is, you know, write a journal and just write down your feelings and how your day was like, and basically just talk to yourself in your journal and hide it and put it in a good place where, you know, no one is ever gonna think of finding it. There was a time where I kept a journal, but unfortunately he ended up finding it and he ripped out the pages. So that's the kind of weird things that he would do. But my advice to you is to basically be strong, because I promise you there's going to come a time in your life where you're going to be strong enough to finally put your foot down and say that enough is enough. And I know that you're young, if some of you are young and you are living with your parents and you feel like you don't have a voice, I promise you that writing things down, talking out your feelings through your journal, I know it sounds corny as ever, but it's seriously going to make you feel better. You know, try to think positive and try to have a good mindset. I know it's hard, trust me, because I lived through it. There's times where I just sit down at night and I listen to music and I cry my eyes out, because it's like, I can't believe how far I've actually come with this. And, you know, with all of the struggles through middle school and, you know, being bullied so much and, you know, being told to kill myself almost every other day at school, and, you know, being followed on my way home and, you know, almost being jumped constantly. It's kind of like amazing to me how little me pulled through all of that hurt, and because of all of that hurt, I am the person that I am today. And I want you to know, I know what it's like to fight, and I know what it's like to struggle being who you are in your own home, and I just want to say that I'm sorry that you have to go through this, but I promise to you so much that everything is going to get better. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.